Hello, this is the 9 p.m. English News edition at the headlines. The Regional Council organized the first marathon. The African legend of football, Roger Mila in Djibouti, it gives the kick-off of the two matches.
Those are the top stories, and thanks for joining us in our newsroom. The President of the Republic, Ismail Margele, has sent a message of condolences to the custodian of the two holy places, the King Salman bin Abdulaziz. And this comes after the announcement of the death of King's brother, the late Michel bin Abdulaziz Al Saud. The President of the Republic has made part of his compassion in its solidarity to the custodian of the two holy places. He also expressed his sympathy to the other members of the royal family and to all the people of Saudi Arabia. May God grant his mercy to the deceased and welcomes him in his eternal paradise, has implored the head of state. The late Prince Michel bin Abdulaziz has occupied in the 50s the function of the Defense Minister of Saudi Arabia Kingdom. He was recently the President of the Allegiance Council to the throne, the authority responsible for preparing the succession to occupy the functions of king.
And now let's go to Baku in Azerbaijan, where the President of the National Assembly, Mohammed Ali Hamid, and his delegation have participated in the first Global Forum on Intercultural Dialogue, which take place in Baku. The President of the Assembly has put forward a theme concerning the role of MPs in the intercultural dialogue during this forum. He has further stressed that the chamber is in itself a place where he displayed the diversity of a nation, and therefore a place by the excellence of intercultural dialogue. In conclusion, the President of the National Assembly, Mohammed Ali Hamid, has pointed out in his speech that the representative of the peoples teach respect for difference and tolerance among others.
The Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, has received today Mr. Junsuke Takei, Vice Japanese Minister of Foreign Affairs and Parliamentary. Junsuke Takei is currently conducting a working visit to the Republic of Djibouti. The meeting took place in the presence of the two ambassadors, Tetsu Awe and Ahmed Arita Ali in Djibouti and Tokyo. Also took part in this meeting Mr. Yassin Hussein Douale, Director of Bilateral Relations, and Mr. Musa Muhammad Umar, Director of the Communication. The Minister of Foreign Affairs and Japanese Vice Minister have emphasized the excellence of bilateral relations existing between the two countries and have addressed the various cooperation projects in the course of implementation in Djibouti, in particular the draft provision of equipment in favor of the civil protection of Djibouti and the project for the granting of a second ferry whose mission is planned in the course of the month of June 2017. Then the two ministers also address many other issues relating to the region and news around the world. The actions of the forces of Japanese self-defense still in Djibouti have been listed in the same way as those of other international forces. The two ministers have finally referred to the forthcoming holding of the first forum of Djibouti-Niban affairs planned from 8 to 11 May. It will be the opportunity for Japanese investors to become more interested in the country.
To another news now, after Al Sabih, the Minister Delegate in charge of decentralization, Hamadou Mohamed Aramis, visited on Thursday Tajura region to discuss with the local elected officials and the opinion leaders the question relating to the process of decentralization. This meeting was held at the seat of the Regional Council. For more detail, let's see it.
After Al-Sabih Wednesday, the Minister Delegate in charge of the decentralization, His Excellency Mr. Hamadou Mohamed Aramis, accompanied by a team of his department, went to Tajura, where he chaired the Thursday 4th May at the headquarters of the Regional Council a walking day between parliamentarians and the regional advisor of the region of Obok and Tajura. The objective of this visit was to discuss the creation of a permanent framework of consultation and dialogue between the regional authorities. We are also invited to this day the prefect of these two regions of the north, respectively Mr. Abdul Malik Mohammed Banoita and Mr. Hassan Dabali, as well as the civil society of Tajura, and also in the chief place of the host region, by providing the opportunity for each to make their contribution to the materialization of this initiative and others to express their experiences and expectation in relation to the decentralization, and in so doing to challenge their agenda. Upon his arrival at the place of the meeting, the Minister Aramis, who was accompanied by particularly the Dean of the Parliamentarians from the North and President of the Front for the Restoration of the Unity and Democracy, the Honorable Ali Mohammed Dawood, has received a very warm welcome of the population. And this testifies to the popularity of the basis of the process of decentralization, which crossed not only with the recent decision of transfer various revenues to the region. After the welcome word of Mr. Omar Hussein, President of the Regional Council of Tajura, host of the event, and the speeches, place has been made to the event, both by the diversity of the stakeholders that by the discussed topics, turning around the creation of a permanent framework of cooperation and dialogue between the representative of the people, in particular of the decentralization in general. The Minister Aramis has not merely listened, but was an active participant, taking to witness the assistance in a language that is simple and direct, questioning the prefect, the regional advisors, and the parliamentarians of the region. You have, he said, each of you your own well-defined mission, but this does not mean that you must isolate yourself or you oppose to one another, but on the contrary, you must work together for the development of your population. For the Minister Aramis, as parliamentarians and local elected representatives, the prefect, whom the main responsibility is to ensure the embodiment of the state in their respective territorial are all of the native of the region, and this is an advantage and one more reason, he said, to agree and work hand in hand to improve the living condition for their population, and in so doing to work to ensure the success of the decentralization processes as a tool for the development of the region of the country.
The Minister Delegate in charge of decentralization, Hamadou Mohamed Aramis, has explained in his speech the importance of the creation of a permanent framework for periodic consultations between parliamentarians and members of the Regional Council. From him.
Pour avoir été un acteur de développement local.
In his opening speech, the Minister Delegate in charge of the decentralization, Hamadou Mohamed Aramis, explained the importance of the creation of a permanent framework of periodic consultation between parliamentarians and the local elected representative with a view to the improvement of the condition of life of the population and to advance the process of decentralization at the same time. The Minister did not fail to remind all the authorities present there that they must join their effort to boost this decentralization process and contribute hugely to the well-being of the population. It is a must, he said, to gather in this way and to discuss about the future of the region, which depend on fostering this process and requires working hand by hand together. I'm very happy to be able to come and visit you, and above all discussing with you in such a matter is something that brings change in our region. We must have same opinion about it and join our ideas to make things go ahead. The Minister Aramis has also spoke at length of the security issue. It is a question of news to the light of a terrorist attack that occurred recently. The question of security is an important parameter for the development of the region, he said. Without security, all our initiatives are bound to fail, and we must not only know, but we must react over this terrorist attack that can tackle all the development projects and that joining our forces to combat it. So this is what we need to do. This decentralization process is a significant asset which will help us to move on and to bring change in our region.
Contre ces malfaiteurs armés.
The mobile team of Djibouti Telecom, composed of executives and technicians, are responsible to make available to the population of the rural areas rechargeable phones, and thanks to the solar energy continues their tour at Al Sabih region. The team has been welcomed by the prefect of the region, Mohamed Wabri Asougi, the president of the regional council, Omar Ahmed Wais, as well as the population of Asajog. During a week, they will visit and attempt to sell these phones to the inhabitants of this region of Daasbiyo, Ali Adde, Obole, Dudubalele up to Gestir. The
Regional Council of Tajura has organized for the first time the Marathon of Hope. The members of the organizing committee of the 4th anniversary of the independence and the actors of the region, including parliamentarians, have participated in the Race of Hope. Young people from all communities have concurred on 10 kilometers between Rupta and Tijora. The organization of this tournament had a dual objective, which is to detect young talent in athletes and also to participate in the festivities of the 40th anniversary of the country. The kickoff has been given by the President of the Regional Council, Mr. Omar Hussein, in the presence of the elected members of the region. The first place was won by Mohammed Ahmed, and a check of 150,000 francs was presented to him by the Minister of Decentralization, who congratulated the Regional Council for the organization of this first Course of Hope, and in French, L'Espoir. A check of 100,000 has been handed over to the second winner by Mr. Barik. It's Mr. Mohammed Adan Ali, and finally 50,000 francs has been handed over to the third winner, Hamed Ismail, by the Prefect of Malik. The remains of the athletics have benefited from the coupons to purchase food.
The meeting, which was played in the city of Djibouti, has been followed by the legend of African football, Roger Mila Mohamed Gaaz, has more.
Under the leadership of Secretary of State for Youth and Sport, the Djiboutian Federation of Football has closed this afternoon the season 2016-2017, the national championship of the first division. A last day marked by two very important meetings in the race for the title, since a single point separated the classification of the two leaders of the championship. This game is played simultaneously. On the one hand, the team of Port, the second leader, played at the stage of Ali Sabih with the training of Dekhil, while the team of the university faced the team of Djibouti Telecom, unquestionable leader since the fall of the team of Port. This last has beaten his opponent of the day on a severe score of 6-1 and is sacred champion. Noting that this day has also been marked by the presence of a guest of mark, the legend of African football, Mr. Roger Mila, in visit since 2 days with us for its participation in the 17th Assembly General of the ANOCA, which will be held on 9 May next. The Cameroonian star of round ballon, with the Secretary of State for Youth and Sport, had at the outset given the kick-off for this very exciting and expected meeting by the fans and also by the organizers. The recalls the team of Djibouti Telecom won for its 5th of sharpening and this title more prestigious of the national championship.
As part of the Intercorps Championship, the King Fahad Complex hosted the last meeting of the quarterfinals last night, a match between the team of the Republican Guard and the team of the National Army Forces. Two very competitive teams. The Republican Guard has beaten its great rival on 4-0 and qualified in the semi-final. The meeting was attended by senior officials and generals of the army, such as General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim, as well as the Secretary of State for Youth and Sport. The meeting was also marked by the presence of Roger Mila, the legend of the football.
Djibouti City is preparing to shelter the foundations of the 70th General Assembly of National Olympic Committees of Africa, or ICNO. In total, some 250 sports leaders of Olympics in Africa will take part in these works, and preparations are going well. The explanations.
In Djibouti, the forthcoming organization of a major event for the Olympic movement of Africa mobilized at the highest point. In total, some 250 sport leaders of the International Olympism are expected in the capital for the holding of the 17th General Assembly elective of the ANOCA, which will take place from 9 to 11 next May. And this is the first time in the history of the African sport that the ANOCA General Assembly takes place in our country, where the National Olympic Committee is chaired by a woman who is also a member of the International Olympic Committee. The challenges we will have understood is to size for the Olympic Committee of Djibouti, which want to make the holding of this foundation an ideal opportunity and a memorable moment of Olympism in Djibouti. Also, the management team of the National Olympic Committee of Djibouti, master of work of the organization, is preparing very seriously to meet this great challenge. The team, led by the very dynamic and energetic president of the National Olympic Committee, Ms. Asha Garad Ali, who is intent to put in place all the assets and the strength of her side and guarantee to this event a better visibility by making to this elected moment a significant showcase. Here every detail requires its importance. The designs are finally chiseled and media of communication already finalized, but the performance remains on ethics and excellence erected in major priority. It is about to raise at the highest the brand image of our country with the prestigious delegation from instances of the International Olympic expected for the event. It is therefore through a committee of organization, including the Secretary of State for Youth and Sport, occupies the presidency of honor, that a well-led staff, volunteers, and methodical finalizing the last details of the coming on the ground of Djibouti of important and eminent members of the World Olympic movement and continental. Finally, the issue of the funding of the top-level sport in Africa remains a challenge to support high performance in terms of the preparation of athletes for the global deadlines. And the ANOCA through the National Committee implement a useful project in the area of action of the predefined and covered by Olympic solidarity. These areas are the Olympic scholarship for athletes, the training of coach, the National Olympic Committee management, and the promotion of the Olympic values. The emphasis is especially focused in particular on the training and the fight against doping.
And still with the national news, as part of the caravan of cleanliness, which is improving every day more and more, with a strong participation of participants in new actions of embellishment, the patriots of the municipality and of the civil society were strongly mobilized. As usual, and as part of the caravan initiated by the city council, the local population of neighborhood 7 and Télé strongly mobilized with the strong participation of the president of the commune of Bul'as, local elected representative, member of civil society, to collect garbage and remove the sidewalks from the main arteries of the roadways. It should be remembered that the activities are undertaken by the caravanners are improving day by day, and the inhabited or the residents of the targeted sectors have also begun painting with volunteering. Varied results of these acts and patriotism and civism of which the caravans of neighborhood 7 and Télé have shown, the mayor of Djibouti city, Mrs. Fatouma Awali Osman, the deputy mayor of Djibouti, as well as the president of the commune, Mohamed Omar Ismail, thanked very much.
In the evening of 4th May at 7:30 p.m., the gendarmes of Djibouti North Brigade arrested a drug trafficker driving a white sedan selling illegal goods. Immediately, the gendarmes arrested him and discovered on him 3 bags containing products of narcotics and cannabis, one of which cost 10,000 francs. During the investigations, the gendarmes conducted a search of the suspect's home. These operations allowed the discovery of 2 bags filled with cannabis packages with a total weight of 20 kilos. The value of these goods is more than 300,000 francs Djibouti. Given the seriousness of the facts, the trafficker and his possible accomplices will be brought to justice tomorrow to answer for their actions. And that's it for tonight's news. Thanks for joining us in RTD. Have a good night.